Good morning. I'm Father Marshall Shelley, Rector here at St. Peter's Episcopal Church. This is what has become a weekly video update on the life of Christ here in the parish, and I wanted to bring you up to speed on some things and give you a good word. Just to let you know, we are anticipating word from the diocese this week about procedures for reopening our buildings. As you know, we had to close the buildings mid-March in the face of the pandemic, and as a result, we have not been on the corner of Main and DeVoe other than just to keep the lights lit and the buildings cared for. We have not been able to assemble in person. However, we have been continuing to get together virtually, and the life of Christ continues. We've been maintaining an abundant life of prayer, of formation, and also the ability we have to gather socially. And also, I want to commend Community Foot Ministries and Alice's Cup, as well as our parish gardeners who have worked hard to ensure that we are continuing to support and offer care to our community through outreach in the name of Christ. We have some things that we're working on, and I'll be meeting shortly with the wardens to talk about those. One of those is to think about how we are going to reopen our thrift shop, which is both a vital service for the community and an essential stream of income for the well-being of our parish. As well, I share good news that though we have not been able to gather in person, the members of this parish have continued to support the mission and ministry of our church, both with their presence and prayers, but also with their stewardship and their support. That has been a distinct blessing to us. We are truly blessed right now to be able to say that we are being sustained in abundance, and thank you for that. Your continuing support is making a big difference for us. So in that regard, I wanted to take a minute to talk about a word that I've been walking with the past few days, and that word is humility. And it ties into humble, the idea that we are standing in the presence of something greater than ourselves, something that causes us to pause, to bow our heads, to offer respect and honor to something beyond ourselves, someone beyond ourselves. And I've been experiencing a lot of humility lately, and I'm thankful for that. That opportunity to slow down and take a moment to reflect on the many blessings that I've been experiencing, that we've been experiencing together, but also to understand that many of those blessings do not come necessarily out of virtue of our efforts, but out of the expense and the costs that come from other sacrifices. And I ask you today to join me in being aware of and connected to and humbled by that grace. I was in a conversation with some friends on Monday evening, and a person who I offer the deepest respect made the remark that in his life and in his ministry, the thing he felt most at this moment and that caused him some grief was a sense of being shielded from the pain and the distress and the discomfort and even the agony that so many are facing. You know, he has a good home, he has a good job, he has a great ministry, he has gifts in a wonderful partner, and in the resources, and in his health, and in his ability to use everything that he's been given to continue to effect change for the good in his community. But in many ways, he sits, as many of us do, above the fray. He's at a place of advantage. Another friend I was speaking to spoke about how her own white privilege has given her such a humbled awareness that there's more she should be doing, but she's not sure what she could be doing. In that context, I think we are all aware that we as a people of God are called to strive for social justice, and to strive for peace, and to be aware just how profoundly honored we are to be together in this moment. It may not feel like it all the time. It may not feel like it at all for some. We may feel that the divisions and fissures that we are experiencing with regard to politics, with regard to social convention, with regard to our own anxieties and fears or our opinions and beliefs, may seem to drive wedges between us. But I'm convinced that if we are able to embrace a deeper sense of humility, we will be able to come together and be aware of that opportunity we have to stand as one body in Christ before a loving God. So with that context, I also share that in the wake of all of these contentions and conflicts and arguments that are roiling and broiling around us, I prayed on Tuesday, and I took some time to do the thing that I think God is asking us all to do. Rather than entering into the echo chambers of my own beliefs and positions, I instead reached out to friends. I reached out to colleagues. I reached out to people who are being deeply affected by these struggles and conflicts and anxieties and fears, and I asked them how they were doing. And I sat and I listened. We have a lot of listening to do. And I think perhaps maybe that's the greatest manifestation of the spiritual gifts of God in Christ that we can embrace in these moments of humility, whether we choose them or they choose us, is to pause, to listen, to honor, to respect, and then to seek what we can to offer healing and reconciliation to each other. We have a lot to work on in these days to come at St. Peter's, not just in reopening our buildings and returning to a life in Christ together in which we are in person rather than in virtual gatherings, but also we have a responsibility and a calling to embrace and really seek and serve Christ in all persons, loving our neighbors as ourselves, and also to strive for justice and peace, respecting the dignity of every human being. These are high callings that we embrace in the Episcopal Church in our baptismal covenant. These are the ways we honor Christ in each other, and ultimately, this is the way we will continue to embrace humility in our life in Christ together. I thank you for your time. I bid you peace. It is truly a beautiful morning. I hope you get a chance to enjoy the good weather and that you are able to embrace the day that God has given us. God bless. God keep you well. Take care. Bye-bye.